Hi, it's Sunday and I'm standing outside another Oxford Open Doors exhibition. This place is normally closed to the public, but it's open today, and it's the gardens of the Oxford Preservation Trust, and the people inside today are mainly concerned with the garden itself. They're not Oxford Preservation Trust people. One of them is the gardener who, as I understand it, helped renovate this garden since it was last done in 1976 or so. It's attached to a house. It's a perfectly normal house that would have been lived in for generations. And one of the people inside characterised the Oxford Preservation Trust as the people without whom that house would have been knocked down too. Because I'm standing in the district of St Ebbes, and most of the houses were knocked down. And what we have instead is the Westgate shopping centre, the first one having been built in the late 60s, and then the second one having been built in 2017. And I'm just going to add, I did a video yesterday where I took a bus ride on the Longhanborough Bus Museum's bus through the city centre, watching from the top deck. And one of the things I videoed was a hotel at the end of Broad Street that used to be Boswell's, and the lettering for Boswell's is still there. And people often say that what killed Boswell's was the Westgate shopping centre, and particularly perhaps the John Lewis. Well, I've just been told that apparently John Lewis is experiencing such bad footfall that it may be closed, which seems rather a waste of Boswell's, really. Anyway, I'm going to go in and have a quick look round the garden. Now, I have done plenty of gardening in my time, but I'm not experienced enough to recognise particular quality types of plant, varieties of plant. So if you see, for example, a particularly nifty variety of cyclamen and I don't comment on it, don't be offended. I know what cyclamen look like, but I don't think I could tell a good variety from a bad one, other than on general aesthetic grounds. I mentioned cyclamen just because there's a fine display over there. Now this, apparently, there's a fair amount of old city wall buried under here, and there may be some of it protruding up above ground, I'm not sure. But that's what I've just been told. And so if you were standing on this side, you were outside the city. If you were standing on the other side, you were inside. Now, I believe the gardener said that one of the things that she had to deal with was a cotoneaster, which turned out to be rather bigger than she was. And I also understand that quite a lot of help was given by one of the senior gardeners in the university parks, who obviously have, they have access to centuries of, not quite centuries, to experience accumulated since 1855 or so, when the parks were started. That is part of the West Gate. That's one of the houses that wasn't demolished. I think it's probably next door rather than the one that this garden belongs to. And that's what we have in its place. I think that's rather a poor exchange. A few more years without the Oxford Preservation Trust, and we wouldn't have Jericho either, because that was going to go the same way as St Ebbes. So this is the house that the garden belongs to, and it's probably only on these 2 days of the year, or if you have official business with Oxford Preservation Trust, that you will see the house from this angle, i.e. inside the garden. And I probably didn't say that Oxford Preservation Trust are the people who organise Oxford Open Doors, so all thanks to them.
Archaeologically, yes, it's very no, not really. I think the answer is almost certain. No.
Now, Oxford, of course, has many ancient remains, and there was a monastery near here called Greyfriars, and I've been told that the ground was excavated in the 60s, before the first Westgate Centre was built, and then, as far as possible, the remains were left for possible future excavation, or possible future examination, I suppose I should say. And that indeed was done sometime before 2017, when the second Westgate Centre was built. Yeah, so
possibly other stuff as well. One to think of at some point in the future. This piece of scrap. Yeah, exactly. Good reason to dig it up and then treat it.
So let's have one more look at the house. And that's the Oxford Preservation Trust Garden and House for Oxford Open Doors 2025.